My name is Henry Posko. I'm with Humanum, a nonprofit organization that provides workforce development for individuals in poverty, ex-offenders, and those with disabilities. This is a story about what we risked, a bunch of social workers, to do something that was incredibly bold and being quite a bit of a fish out of water. We risked a lot. What happened was we merged with an organization in 2003 that was smaller than we were. Our commitment to them was to grow their services from a job development perspective, and the first thing we needed to do was find them a building. And so my colleagues and I spent 2 or 3 years looking throughout the city, Midtown, downtown, East Side, you name it, to find a building that would fit. And one of the things that the board gave us was some direction. They said you cannot spend more than $3.2 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but we already had 1.6, so we figured we just had to have some fundraising to do. However, when we finished this project, it wasn't $3.2 million. We kept moving building to building to building, focused area to different focus areas, and at the end of the day, our board said $25 million. And so we are now charged with trying to raise $25 million for a building that we really had to sell to a risk-averse board. And this board was filled with a number of corporate individuals, but very smart. So this is the building that we came up with. Many of you recognize this building. It doesn't look like that anymore, but it was really important for us to convince the board that this is the way to go. I can tell you we developed a rating scale, and this building came dead last every time we did it. So my colleagues and I changed the rating scale. And so it kept moving up step by step by step. But it's really important from a board's perspective to realize that the fiduciary responsibility lies with them, not with us. What you're seeing are some photographs of this area. We picked probably, arguably one of the most devastated, disinvested neighborhoods in the city. However, we picked one of the most iconic buildings in there. So we really had to convince the board that this was the way to go. What you're looking at here is the red that you see. You don't need to see the streets. You just need to know that if you see red, it means it's vacant. So we are in this area, in about 4 block square area, we had 65% vacancy rate. However, we knew that if we pull this project together, when you do a historic adaptive reuse, there's a development fee that goes along with that. What we realized is it probably wouldn't be coming to us. And so what we did is we approached our board and convinced them to put somebody else in charge of their organization so we could actually move some things around and become the developers of this project. 2 social workers stepping out of that role and thinking that we could do development. And so one of the things that we had to do was to convince the board to come over and agree with this. So we did a red states, blue states. We actually had board members who were red and board members who were blue and said, what do we have to do to convince them to be all one color and sign on this? So we had a strategy for each one of them, and one of the strategies was bringing them around the community so they could see what we were doing. What we didn't realize, at the end of the day, what you're seeing there is the structure of this deal with 100 different lines and boxes. What that meant was we need to learn how to be developers. And the only way to learn how to be developers was to really step out of our roles as social workers and jump into this. So we call it going to the dark side. So we did go to the dark side. It took us a long time, maybe about 11, 12 months to pull the financing together, but the result has been amazing. The next slide you're going to see is the final result of that building. $25 million later, and I got to say, we thank you. We bought it for $2,500 from the city. And they thought they were getting a good deal. We got a great deal. What you're looking at are some pictures of that. Let me tell you what we've done since we've been there. We moved in May of 2009, so it's been a little over 2 years. We've served 1,500 people. We've employed 40 people from the community. From a business perspective, we helped start a security firm from ex-offenders and bounty hunters to run the security for us. Today they have $300,000 worth of contracts, and they've employed 7 other people from the community, and we're looking at expanding their operation. Again, what you're seeing is some of the space. The innovative leaders, emerging leaders met there today. We're actually hoping to host this event at the brewery in subsequent Ignites. So at the end of the day, not only did we raise $25 million from foundations, tax credits, and bond bills. We have no debt. Everything you see in those pictures was completely paid for, and we pulled $1 million out of the deal and put it back into the community. What you're seeing here is the next project. So that risk-averse board loves us now. That comes with an $8 million development fee. It's twice as big as the brewery. It's where the beer was bottled, and we think we're going to kick that off next year. So I challenge you. Many people said we couldn't do this. You need to ask yourself the question, what are you willing to risk to change the perceptual landscape in Baltimore City? Thank you.